Maybe, hang on.
Sorry, I didn't have my volume turned up anyway.
Go.
And welcome everyone. Hopefully you didn't get vertigo there with the camera change. Welcome to the 12 o'clock show with Mayor Joe. Most of us have survived the Tomato Festival because we've got a lot of things going on, starting with the beginning of a brand new school year. So joining to me today is a lot of the administrative team and board president of Reynoldsburg City Schools, Superintendent Dr. Tracy, Executive Director of Business Tim Wagner, and Board President Angela Abram. Thank you for taking the time during the busiest time of the school year to come and talk to me today. Is everybody excited?
We are.
All right.
Ready to rock.
So first off, let's start with this is the simple question. When's the first day of school?
On the 20th, August 20th for grades K through 9, the alphabet A through K, and then the 21st is L through Z.
There we go. So if you didn't know that already, then we have a whole other set of problems to go through, but let's just stick with this one. Kind of go around the room and just tell me, big things that everybody's always concerned about, whether they're kids that are new to education or whether they're kids coming back. What advice do you have for parents to make sure that their kids are successful this year? And anybody can kind of start off with that one.
I'll start off. Go to sleep. Sleep at night. Stay hydrated. Come to school. Go to sleep, come to school. Those are my two big things. And any information you need for school supplies is on our hub, our portal, the run.org. So that's how you can access your information.
Sounds good.
I encourage all parents to connect with their teachers and their building principals. You want to establish a positive relationship early and often to make sure that you know what expectations are and the teachers know what you're expecting from your children. I think that's really important for the start of the school year and throughout the school year.
And I think from an operations, probably the biggest thing we're dealing with always is the startup of the buses.
Everybody's favorite.
Yes, so we've brought in all new software this year. So for the first time here in the next couple of days, when information goes out, parents will be able to see their students' information on their Power School.
Okay.
So it's not a separate website, it's with all your student information. And then in early October, we're rolling out a parents app where they'll be able to track the bus and know where their kids' buses are and communicate with transportation. So, but in the short run, if you don't see something, don't wait till next Thursday or Friday or Wednesday to call. Call Monday, call Tuesday to get your information so we can get you straightened out or we can get you the information you need.
Well, I know one thing that our police department and I have had conversations about in anticipation of next week starting. I wouldn't speed in the school zones if I were you. Just throwing that out there. You shouldn't do it anyway, but I would say for about the first 10 days or so of school especially, really don't do it. And if you're not picking up on this, it means because they're going to be waiting for you on that. I know we've had some good conversations about some of the parking strategies and some of the flow in and out and things like that, but I know our police officers are ready. I know there's one particular school that parents like to park in areas right underneath the sign that says no parking, so there may be some other things there as well, because it's all about the safety of the kids. The one school I'm referring to is Herbert Mills. You know, you get kids parking in the no parking section, and then you have buses going through, and you have kids walking in there. It's a potentially dangerous situation, so we want to make sure that they're out there, so our police officers are ready and set to go with all that stuff. Not because they want to and enjoy writing tickets, though I think one might, but I think it's just more or less about the safety for everybody else.
We'd certainly like to thank you for the collaboration between the city and the schools in terms of helping us increase that pedestrian safety. You know, I came and spoke to council regarding our needs as a school district, so we thank you for that collaboration.
Appreciate it. It all works the same, especially as we get kids to walk to school. As a former teacher, I got to throw out, for my teachers and all that, I'm sure that most of them right now are in their rooms diligently putting things together, but just in case some of them are watching, What advice do you have to some of our teachers and some of our custodians and kitchen staff and everybody else? What kind of advice do you have for them to make sure that they're successful this year? What kind of words of encouragement?
I think it's all about relationships, whether it's with the parents and the students and the staff, or for teachers and administrators. I think we have to start out building a positive relationship early. I think that's first and foremost. And then I call it seeking out assistance if you need it. I know last year we had new curriculum for our teachers, and so this year will be year 2. And so we want to make sure that they get off to a good start. If they need support, please reach out to our central office team. That's what we're there to do. I know there is PD planned in the next few days, so that'll help them get off to a good start.
I always hated PD. I always did. It just me was one of those things I always looked at as, can I get one nugget of something in a PD to make it? But at the same time, I was high school, and there's a difference between PD for high school as opposed to PD for the elementary. I think they're completely different things. And plus, that's just my nature and ability in that. So the next question kind of gets a little bit different. Obviously, we're not going to get into a long conversation of school funding because I don't want to bore everybody watching, and they've heard me rant about that. But in light of everything that's gone on with the levy and funding from the state and how that had been in flux really up until just about a month ago, how are we're never, let's say it this way, I know we're not comfortable and yay, we have the money, but because there's always could be more, but how are we feeling right now from a financial standpoint for the city? What are your thoughts on how we're at as a district financially based on some of these issues?
So I think we're in a better place. We've curtailed the deficit spending, so that is not the issue that it was before. So we've made our adjustments. This year we will definitely be focusing in on monitoring our expenditures, and if there becomes a need for making additional adjustments, then we will make those additional adjustments. First, our priority is to not impact the kids and teachers as much as possible, but making sure we're being, I call it, good stewards of our dollars. I'm in conversation with the board on a regular basis to just kind of determine where we are. And then we have a new 5-year forecast. Yes. Well, it's 3 years forecast. In October, I believe they changed it to. So it'll be a little bit earlier this year than it has been in previous years. And that'll give us some idea on where we are financially as well.
All right.
And I think too that, like within the facilities, we're being very intentional about, is it a warm, keeping the building warm or cool? Is it a safety issue? Is it dry? So while we're cutting back on some maintenance, we're not cutting back on anything that affects the district long term, but we're also looking for any efficiencies. So by changing our start times, we were able to eliminate 10 buses this year. That's about an $800,000 savings for the district, but it's not a one-time savings. It will be, every year, it'll just be about $1 million a year that we don't have to put towards transportation. And of course, and there are some issues that come with that we'll continue to get better and better with.
No, I agree wholeheartedly. Anything for you?
No, I think it's already been said.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those things where when it comes to finances is you guys only have the tools that you have at your availability, and the facilities never get younger. Nothing gets less expensive moving forward, and with the uncertainty of what the state and the federal level does with things, we never know, and you have to react accordingly to it. So just know, if you hadn't already figured it out, I am a pretty big advocate for the schools down at the State House and things like that. So when those times comes, we'll have an ally there. Now specifically, we talked about teachers, we talked about staff, and we talked about students. So Dr. Reed, I'm just going to kind of turn this one specifically to you. What are your goals? Like, do you have, like, when you sit there late at night ready to begin the school year, what are some of the goals that you're thinking of that you'd like to accomplish this year?
It's always about how can we get better. Me professionally, as well as supporting all of our educators in the district. But of course, we want to make sure we create a climate and a culture where kids are safe, teachers feel safe and supported. I also want to make sure that we improve academically. We're looking at our data to say, okay, what do we need to do differently? What went well last year? And what do we need to do differently? I think you always need to capitalize on what went well, because we have a lot of things that go well, and bringing people around the table to talk about, okay, so let's see what we can do a little bit differently to improve. And then making sure we are fiscally responsible. Those are, I would say, my primary 3 goals, making sure that students are successful, staff feels supported, and we're being fiscally responsible with the district's resources.
All right, so nothing real big. It's really easy stuff. There we go. That's all. That's good. One big change overall from the state this year is the policy that everybody said would never happen, but lo and behold it did, the cell phone policy. Cell phones can be a wonderful educational tool at times, then at other times they are also the worst thing that has ever been invented, especially when it comes to the emotional well-being of a lot of students and everything else. So now that everybody has to have a policy in place and cell phones, like what's Reynoldsburg's official stand, or has that been made out yet?
The official stand.
Yeah, on cell phone
I mean,
policies.
we had to implement it according to law.
Yeah.
So, that will happen. So, and I think I spoke about it a few months ago to, encourage parents to, talk to their students so that they can be ready for this change. I am hopeful that it will, reduce some of the cyberbullying that does occur. Which I do believe in turn will enhance the mental well-being of our students.
Yeah, I think that's where I talk about the downside of cell phones and having that there. Bullying has been around, when we were all growing up. The difference was when we got done with school, we went home, and that was the end of it until the next day. Now it's a constant thing all the way around. Well, like many others, I hope that no one has any issues with cell phones. For those parents that are out there that are concerned about how you get in touch with a child, depending on your age, I know when I was growing up, if my family needed to get in touch with me, there was this thing called a telephone, and they called the school office, and then the school office would kind of reach out there. I think that was the same for all of us, so your kids are not going to be completely out of touch. It's just for the benefit of it.
And Dr. Reed and I have had extensive conversations regarding how do we support our secretarial staff, knowing that we're going to get an increased number of calls because of this cell phone policy. And that's some of the additional stress to a school district that I don't think the state legislators are thinking about when they make these policies, because that's a dollar cost for
I was just going to facetiously ask if the state offered any additional funding to help compensate, knowing full well that is not going to be what happens.
Seeing as how they have not offered additional funding for a lot of the other bills that they've put in place for public education.
But it sounds really nice.
It sounds wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you guys will do the best, and I ask parents to be patient with this new policy. I have no idea how many students are out there watching. I know there's usually some from student council that will potentially watch it. Just understand that this is not for anything. This is not because we don't like you or we don't like this or whatever the case may be. It's actually for the benefit of the students. My teaching career started just at the beginning of when cell phones were becoming like kind of more commonplace in the classroom. So I remember a time when, of anything that happened in teaching in my career, that was the biggest impact. The time that nobody had cell phones to the time that everybody had cell phones. It was a huge difference in how everything worked in a classroom, and even more so now all the way across. Fun story, I gotta tell you, there used to be a time when they charged everybody for text messages.
Oh, yes.
And there was one student who came in and she was very upset. This was probably my second or third year teaching. Second year teaching, she was very upset, and I mean, she had, puffy eyes and little tears and things like that, and I said, oh my goodness, what's wrong? It's early in the day, did something happen? And she looked at me, she said they got their cell phone bill. And they got their texting bill, and it was $1,100 in a phone bill for texting. And I said, okay, I can't help you with that.
That's big tears.
Yeah, that's here's some Kleenex. Don't talk to anybody else. But that's, talk about a difference. I mean, I don't think even kids today realize that was a texting fee all the way across, so.
Additionally, with the cell phone policy, there are some exemptions. So if your child has a medical need, such as glucose readings or anything like that, those exemptions will still take place, and they will be allowed to have their phones. So there are some exemptions.
No, I think that, and that's the thing. It's not a one-size-fits-all policy. That there's going to be some things. I also liked one of the studies that they did, and they actually asked the kids after they had gone through a couple of months of not having the cell phones, their lives were not. It wasn't horrible. They were okay. They also did find themselves paying a little bit more attention in class. They didn't want to admit that, but they were actually paying a little bit more attention. All right, so my last question's for you, Board President Abram. What are you looking to see accomplished? I mean, we've had the goals, obviously we want to get everybody there. You talked about making sure the kids get plenty of sleep and show up. We talked about the success of the students and the financial stuff. Do you have anything specific that you're looking for?
Well, the board will be setting goals for the 25-26 year. And we are looking at, just looking at how we can align our goals with the district goals so that we can move in a uniform manner. And we're also looking at just our communication and also looking at our discipline. One of the things I really would like to encourage everyone, because I have been getting a lot of emails, as the rest of the board has, about our high schools and their pathways and people wanting to attend Summit as opposed to Livingston. And I'd like for people to really take a moment and really look at Livingston. It is not what it was. It is not what it is reputed to be. It is doing great things over there. We have a fantastic administration, and we also have a fantastic administration at Summit, so I don't want to act as if,
It's really hard to advocate for Livingston without, no, it's not that Summit is bad enough, but I get you.
No, but Livingston is doing great things, and so if you're over at Livingston, or if your child has been assigned to Livingston, give it a chance. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of good stuff going on there.
And the care that the teachers and staff have for the kids, regardless of campus, is huge. We all know that what teachers and staff will do for their kids, and administrators as well.
Absolutely.
So, any questions that have popped on?
Yep, we got a couple. One question is, with the cell phone ban, are smartwatches included in the ban since they can essentially be used as cell
Ooh,
phones?
that's a good question.
So we're looking at the legislation and the policy, the board's policy says personal communication devices.
Okay. And then for Dr. Reed, this is kind of like a two-part question. So the first part is, are you able to explain the inconsistency in teacher and admin assignments? One building in particular is now on assistant principal number 3 in 3 years. How does this promote relationships and consistency for families, students, and teachers?
So people leave for a variety of reasons. And from a district perspective, we're trying to stabilize or address why some people may leave. Some people leave for other opportunities. So we try to collect some data, exit interview information to find out why people are leaving. And then sometimes it's about finding the right fits. For some people start out at elementary and they realize that they're better suited for high school. So there are a variety of reasons why people leave, but we are trying to make sure that we stabilize and have continuity and leadership at all levels within the organization.
And some assistant principals have been moved
Yes.
within the district, so I'm not sure of the particular school that person is referring to.
Yeah.
All right. So I know when I was at the Tomato Fest, I did talk. I didn't get as many chances to get back to talk to everybody at the booth as but I did talk to one of the administrators that had my kid when he was there, and we talked about it, and just about the fact that there actually is a little bit more consistency, and administrators take away some of the assistant principal positions because of some of the financial aspects of it. But yeah, you're right. I had some pretty decent administrators in my time, and it's amazing how the consistency in administrators can make it, but you also have to have that right fit. And a lot of administrators, when they get that niche, you don't ever want to let them go. So, all right, well, I do appreciate you taking the time. I know you got tons of things to do today. Please let me know if there's anything that we at the city can do. And again, don't speed in school zones, everybody. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you for allowing us.
No, happy to. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and slowly transition here to our next guest. Mike, do you wanna come on up?
Yep.
Mom, do you wanna come up too? Apparently not, so we're gonna, Mike, come on up real quick. Yeah, please. So, this is pretty cool. You and I have known each other for a little bit of time here, and you're wearing a medal. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this first? I wish I could wear a medal just in general.
I'm sure you would. So I just got this gold medal. It was about a couple months ago. I just got this from when I got it awarded. So when I wear this is for respect and to honor this gold medal because so I just bowled at Columbus Square Bowling Palace, which because my average was in the 200s and my highest one was over 223. And so technically, I've been wearing this gold medal ever since I became in first place. I shot 341 series, and I've been proud of that for once.
That's pretty cool. I mean, it's amazing that the results you got. I love the pride. I can see how proud you are of it. And we've had good conversations. I know Board President Abram has been very involved in Special Olympics in a lot of ways as well. I do my part by eating breakfast. Fourth Saturday of the month. At the Mason's Lodge, I have breakfast there, so that is my contribution. But again, that is pretty cool. And you got a T-shirt on there that says the Olympic Games in Minnesota 2026.
Yes, correct.
All right.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
So yes, that's coming up, and we are so proud to support Michael in this American game. We wish you all the best. We think it's going to be a highlight for you. We can't wait to witness that. I won't be traveling with you, but I'm hoping there'll be some video or something that will let us know how you're doing.
Yeah, so I just got this shirt. It's from a website, and so this one here that I'll be wearing because we're going down next year in Minnesota to compete. And I'm also going to be competing as well for the national championship at the Special Olympics USA.
And that's how you represent Reynoldsburg.
So, just letting you know, when we send people, when they're going to the state championship here in Ohio, we give them a police escort. So I'm asking you, and Mom, look at me, when you're ready to go, I want to know so we can give you the proper encouragement sent off with our police department escorting you to where you're ready to go to, because that's how proud we are.
Yep, I'm always ready.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Mike, appreciate it, and thank you for representing Reynoldsburg and everybody. Seriously, thank you for everything. Absolutely. All right. You're off the hook. You guys can go ahead and get ready off. Mom didn't want to get on the video, but it's okay. We'll do that later. Thank you. All right. Talk about a way to end the guest segment on a high note there. That's going to be pretty cool. So we'll kind of follow his travels and journeys along the rest of the way. As you heard, school starts in about 7 days, so make sure you've checked out where your schools are, kids are signed, and if there's any kind of lists and things like that. Also have some school supply things coming up as well, so keep an eye on the website for that one. Did have some Tomato Festival highlights. One, I got our little tomato guy here at the Tomato Festival. So it's a pretty cool 3D printed shop out there, but we did a lot of cool things this year, but we're always looking for more. One, the drone show. Please let us know what you thought about it in the chat. I thought it went off great. I thought it was a great representation of it. We're going to try and include this in the future, but especially, I know we have Diwali that it'll be at, and then we'll have another drone show, especially next year with America 250. So we're really working on the coordination of that one. Lots of fun events. I cannot tell you how excited people were to do the Tomato Smash. Some people were really enthusiastic to do the spaghetti eating contest, others not so much, but they were good sports about it. The dunk tank, the tomato heckler, all of those different types of things, and of course my favorite, the pizza challenge. Congratulations again to Pizzaronis for their victory on the both specialty and for the pepperoni side of things. I did see a number of suggestions on Facebook. Some of them are really cool ideas, and some of them we'll have to work on a little bit. But keep those suggestions coming, and most importantly, if you want to, you can always volunteer. We are always looking for help to kind of, I don't want to say even run some of the programs. City staff does a great job, and a phenomenal shout out to all of them that did it, but we'd love to have additional help, especially with some of those event type things. For other things that are going on, we have my next walk and talk is actually tomorrow. If you want to go and put that up there, we're going to be at Doverwood and Timber Creek tomorrow at 6:30. Take a look for the message board. We'll be out there tomorrow to take a look at that. We'll talk about everything. We'll talk about the Tomato Festival. We'll talk about all things development and roads and all sorts of other things, Reynoldsburg and all of that, but that's tomorrow night at 6:30. So please join us for that. For those of you that travel Wagner Road, you're going to see some big changes in the next couple of days. First thing you're going to see is you're going to see those curb lines getting put in. The goal was to put them in today. I have not been there, so I don't know if they're up there yet. But the curb line's going in. Phase 2, we're going to have a town hall next on the August 20th. It's going to be at 6:30 p.m. And we're going to give a very general overview of what Phase 2 looks like. Phase 2 will be from Priestley all the way to Broad Street. So it's going to be a very generic thing, and then after that we'll start meeting with residents to talk about their specific pieces of property. The alley work from some of the street stuff was complete, and so they're good to go. So if you've been in the French Run area, those alleyways are done. Streets, our second phase of streets were a couple of courts, 5 courts and a street out on the Licking County side of things. We're going to get that on council's agenda, the first meeting in September, and we're going to try and race the weather to try and get that taken care of, to get those roads done before this year. If they don't get done this year, they're going to be first on the list for next year. Speaking of next year, we're going to have a meeting with city staff to talk about next year's street program. We're going to have a little bit more flexibility because Wagner Road is kind of off the books financially for us. Now we're back into our regular spending projections and things like that. So we're going to talk about what roads are going to be done. We're going to try and hit as many residential roads because a majority of the major thoroughfares are taken care of. We'll also talk a little bit about the BRT. We have another open house for that on August 27th at the library from 4 to 6 p.m. This one's kind of catering towards the business side of things, but everybody is welcome to join us there. You may have seen some things about this at the Tomato Festival this last weekend as well. And because the Tomato Festival is over, it doesn't mean that everybody is kind of taking a break from things. Even parks, they're right back at it. So they have the nighttime Livingston tour for the Livingston House tour on August 29th and September 26th from 9 to 12 a.m. So 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. And we also have, for everybody that wants to go to prom yet again, we have the adult prom at Eastside Brewery on Friday, October 10th from 6 to 9 p.m. And they will have a king and queen announced as well there. So hopefully you can check that out. Any questions, comments, anything coming up from me? I know I'm not as interesting to talk to as our school representatives. That's fine. I won't take it personally. But we've got a lot of other things going on. I don't think there's any cash drops up for this weekend. We're all still kind of recovering from Tomato Fest, but the next big event for us is going to be the Blues and Brews on September 12th. That's going to be Friday night at Huber Park, so we're going to do that. And that is, right now, we're going to try and see if we're tentatively kicking off our designated outdoor refreshment area, or DORA, that time. And then we get into the really important stuff, Halloween. It's about time. Doesn't feel like Halloween weather out there, but we're definitely dedicated to it. We know the stores are already set because I've already seen Halloween candy at all of the stores. With that, that's all I got for us today. We do have our next show next week. It'll be with Franklin County Director of Public Health, Joe Mazzola. He's going to talk about all the wonderful things that the kids will be bringing home from their first week of school to you to share, and I'm not talking pencils and paper. It's probably just germs. We'll also have some representatives from the Reynoldsburg Chamber of Commerce as well. If there are any last second questions, anyone? Nope. All right. With that, everybody, I really appreciate everybody who participated out at the Tomato Festival, whether it was participating in the spaghetti eating contest or tomato wars, or just came out and had fun and watched some things. It was a blast. Our staff, as always, was amazing, and it is a sense of controlled chaos from basically Wednesday until Sunday afternoon. A lot of us are still kind of struggling to get moving again after that one, but they did a phenomenal job. And there's 363 days until the next one. So keep that in mind as it's all ticking down. Everybody else, stay safe, stay respectful. As always, please put your shopping carts away. And remember, tomatoes are at the Tomato Fest. We'll see you guys.